मैं 15 साल की थी, मेरा 9 में शादी हो गया, 9 बरस में।
When I was 15 years old, I got married. I was excited for my new life, but soon after, my husband became very mistrusting. He began to beat me with sticks and tie my hands and legs together so that I could not get away. I remember times when he would lock me in the bathroom for 2 or 3 days with no food and no water. After a couple of years, I had 2 kids. I was so malnourished, my body couldn't even produce breast milk. My husband got so angry that he told me he didn't care what happened to me. So one day when he was in the village, I was able to escape and run away. I came to Duncan, where I found the community outreach team. They helped me get well and strong again. Once I regained my strength, they went with me back to the house to get my kids, but my husband had already remarried and said I could not have my children back. I have never felt so alone and devastated. But with the help of Duncan and the incredible people in the community outreach program, I have gone back to school and become trained as a tailor. I hope to earn enough money to take my husband to court in an attempt to get my children back. In our village, the caste system is still a big problem. Due to being in a lower caste, my children and many more in the village were not allowed to go to school. Instead, they were forced to work in the fields. Even children as young as 4 years old were out gathering grass and harvesting food. The community outreach program at Duncan came in and helped us to organize a group and petition the government to get our children into the schools and educated. I am now a leader of that group in my village. Currently, we are tackling the issue of women not being able to own land, resulting in many women being kicked out of their homes if their husband dies or chooses to leave them. With the help of the community outreach team, we have seen so much growth in our village and are excited to see what God will continue to do. The community outreach program is designed to go into the communities that surround Duncan in order to educate and provide support against issues like sex trafficking, child labor, basic human rights, and more. Our goal is to send leaders into each community group in order to empower the people and find ways with them to prevent some of these all too common issues. We also try to figure out what specific needs each community has and form groups to try and help enrich their lives. Whether it be a women's group, youth groups, forming schools for kids in lower classes who might be behind due to lack of access to education, or income-generating programs to prevent people from being tied to creditors in the communities, which so often leads to slavery in order to pay off that debt. The community outreach program aims to empower people to see themselves as God sees them. I used to hate the fact that I had 3 daughters. I was so depressed, and I would look at them wishing they were boys. When I would go out into the community, everyone would mock and tease me because I was not able to produce boys for my family. I found myself caring very little for them and even found it difficult to care if anything bad happened to them. But then, the community outreach team came to our village. They began helping people and talking about the value of the girl child. They talked about how all people are created in the image of God and should be treated equally. This changed my entire attitude. Almost immediately, I felt my heart being transformed. Soon after, I put my daughters in school. They are doing very well, and I can't express the feelings of joy and pride I have for them. After my husband died, I became very sick with a chronic disease. I was no longer able to take care of myself or my family. The community outreach program found me and took me to Duncan, where they nursed me back to a healthy state and began to provide for my family. To this day, every week, someone from the community outreach group comes and picks me up to take me to Duncan for my continued treatments. It is only because of Duncan and the community team that I am alive today.
Currently, we are working in 10 blocks of East Champaran district, and we want to expand more, but we are limited in resources. So we really need your prayers and your support. We could partner together wherever we are in the world to transform the community. क्या बनना चाहते हैं बड़े होके मुझे बताएंगे? They both want to become doctor. शी वांट्स टू गेट इनटू पुलिस. आप क्या बनना चाहती हैं? डॉक्टर. आप डॉक्टर बनना चाहती हैं. आप क्या बनना? So most of them want to become doctor and police. कौन बनना है? पुलिस में आप. She does some work of a housemaid in other houses and she earns a living. So she's also doing well. अच्छा लगता है स्कूल में पढ़ के? आपको अच्छा लगता है स्कूल में? अच्छा लगता है ना? ठीक है. So they all happy to go to school. ठीक है. चलो बस finish.